Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to today's channeled message for December 12th, 2018. Now, I am not going to lie, this information that came through is so important and so profound, and it really rocked my world. One of the main concepts that came through in this session was much deeper explanations into the 11/11 energy event. Now, I don't want to spoil it, so I'll just let you listen for yourself. But I hope you get as much out of this as I did, and if this information resonates with you, please like and subscribe. Hello everyone! So really quickly before we get into today's transmission, we just wanted to remind you that all channeling is limited to the lens of the channel, the life experience of the channel, and the vocabulary of the channel. So when you're channeling higher guidance, they have to use what you have sort of in your data bank to be able to bring stuff through. So keep that in mind when you're listening to any channeling at all, and always take what resonates with you and leave the rest. And also really quickly, I'd like to touch on how Dianne gets her information. So she channels information and she speaks on behalf of the beings that would like to speak and have messages for to share. And then she also is shown images clairvoyantly, which she discusses and interprets for us. So she sort of bounces back and forth between the two. So, okay, thank you so much, and we'll get right into today's session. So first of all, instead of directing the commentary myself, I would really like to know if if there are any beings of a positive orientation that have information to bring to humanity at this time, whatever that may be. if that's just opening remarks from our usual group, or if that is other beings of light that would like to participate today and have important information. I guess I would like to see what comes through first before coming up with my own topics or questions.
From our perspective, from our highest perspective, we see the turmoil. As we spoke of before, we see the turmoil. We see the upheaval. We see the basically the disassociation that is happening on the planet. At our level, at a higher level, when you look at this, it seems like it's turmoil, and it seems very scattered and very just running around like chickens without their heads, so to speak. It's like a very they're showing me, and I'm just going to say they're showing me just like people running all over the place, just not even knowing where they're going, just kind of running around in circles almost, and very chaotic. Yes, extremely chaotic, and just everybody kind of just not knowing and just not understanding or having a deeper understanding of what's going on. And so that's the way it looks as an overall view. But that will all calm down. We see that as just we can use a term that is used obviously by those who will know. There is a saying out there, the calm before the storm, and we're looking at this and calling it the storm before the calm, to use that slogan, which we find very clever actually. So the storm before the calm is what's happening right now. So right now everything seems chaotic and stormy and dark and scary and having no end to it, so to speak, of where's this going to go, where's it going to lead, what's going to happen. So everybody has that feeling right now, the feeling of uncertainty, the feeling of not knowing what's happening and what's going to happen. Everybody, again, has different levels of this feeling, of this fear almost. And we are saying, and we want everybody to know, not to have fear. Fear is not a positive. Fear never creates a positive outcome. Fear is not the emotion that is going to get you where you need to go. So the fear is understandable on some level, but again, if you ask for an overall view, and an overall view is the fear is not going to be a positive outcome for everybody. So the fear needs to be tampered down a bit. The fear, people need to understand that there is nothing to fear, that this is again the storm before the calm. So things, the upheaval, the disassociation, the disconnection that people feel now with each other right now is just part of what is to create the calm in the future. So you can't fight this fight, as we spoke of before. You can't fight this fight without some upheaval, without some distress, without going through a process. So when you're right in the middle of the process, it's very hard to see the goal or the outcome or the end result. It's very hard to see that. But we want to explain that there is a calm to the end of the storm. There is going to be a calmness. So if people can realize that and know that and see that, it might be helpful to them to understand that, yes, going through difficult times right now, going through hard times all over the world. This is universal. This is planetary. There's upheaval going on in all different countries right now. And it's almost catching. It's like, this United States, again, as we spoke of before, United States is kind of like the center, so to speak, of this flux, this chaos, so to speak. It's starting there with what is going on again in politics and what's happening of the battle and the war and the fight that's happening. It's a good fight. It's a necessary fight. It's a planetary fight, but this is where it begins. And then it's, again, as we have spoken, it's reaching out to all these other countries, all these other places, and it's almost catching. People in other countries are seeing what's happening and noticing. People are starting to wake up and notice what is happening in the United States, and how they're getting a different perspective of what's happening in the United States because of the news they're getting. They're getting different information than a lot of people in the United States are actually getting. So they're seeing it in a different light, and they're seeing it as a really positive thing, a positive change. So they are now also trying to create the same thing in their countries to overcome the evil, to overcome the control, to overcome those that want to rule them, so to speak. So this is what's happening. So this is definitely going out and connecting. Everybody's connecting in on this. So the more this happens, the more the chaotic feeling, the energy is getting very strong and very almost chaotic feeling, because the energy is so strong. It's happening so many different places now. The more each human has this feeling, the more connected, and the more energy, the more electrical this really is, and it's sparking. It's like seeing sparks everywhere, just sparking out because of the high level of energy and tension and stress that's happening. But it's also a positive. It's not always a negative. It's a positive. It's an awakening that's causing this electrical field, so to speak, almost around the planet. They're showing me, I'm going to say now, they're showing me the planet of Earth, and just like these light beams going out, and just like electrical light beams, like lightning almost going out from the planet all over the place. And this is just that energy coming off of the planet. Strong pulse of energy everywhere, just coming off the planet. This is the consciousness of the planet. The consciousness is changing. The consciousness is getting stronger. The consciousness is getting more energized, so to speak. And this is causing all of this to happen. We also want to talk about, speaking of energy on the planet, we want to talk about what is being discussed right now of what happened on November 11th on your planet. Was this wave of energy that went around the planet. This wave of energy went around the planet and is waking people up. It's changing. That what happened on that day was unexplained by science. Scientists cannot explain, and that is true. There's no explanation for what happened. You can't scientifically explain what that was, because it wasn't anything to do with science. It has more to do with consciousness. It has more to do with the energy of the planet and consciousness, and that can't be measured necessarily by science. So you just have to resonate with it in your heart, and know and understand that this was something that was resonating from, and the solar flares, almost all the energy coming in from other places. It just created this wave of energy that just surrounded the planet and went around the planet, and that actually was a awakening of the consciousness of people. This was very, very big. This was a very big event that people will not understand at this point in time, because it wasn't, again, as we spoke before, the changing of the planet and the consciousness and where the planet is going to another level is going to be a gentler, a more gentle, not so jarring position that it could have been on another timeline. So now this is going to be more gentle. So this was a gentle wave around the planet. But what that wave is doing and did is they're showing me, I'm going to say, because sometimes I see pictures. So what they're showing me is the planet, and this electromagnetic field around the planet that was control. This control that was around the planet by the evildoers, and that was like holding the consciousness of the people down, holding the consciousness at a level that was controllable.
Like a suppression?
Like an unseen energy suppression, wave energies. That's amazing what can be done with energy levels and electromagnetic waves. They can
like artificial,
exactly. Yes. to hold the consciousness of the planet down, to be controlled.
Well, to almost like interrupt our natural consciousness signals and energies.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Which can be done easily done. So for those that are advanced or have advanced knowledge from other places, which could be in the hands of those that don't have the best plan for the planet. So that being said, this energy level that went around the planet was an energy level that literally opened up that magnetic field. It broke it, so to speak. It put a hole in it. It broke it. So now the consciousness of the planet is no longer being held down, and it's going to shift. There's going to be another big shift. It's going to make people start waking up, and we use the term waking up, which means just spiritually aware, more alert and aware of truth, of truth, of what is going on. So
starting to see through some of the illusions.
Exactly. Yes. See through things that are not truth. Resonate very readily with the truth, and the things that are not true anymore will just not resonate with many people. It will just be disregarded. So this is opening up. This is a big opening shift up of the planet, and it will take on a new direction. The people and the planet itself will take on a new direction now. This is a big freedom, a big letting go of a lot of this control and a lot of this suppression, so to speak. So this is what's happened. And it was gentle enough that it wasn't jarring, but it was strong enough on a subconscious level that those will start to feel differently, start to see things differently. So we wanted to explain that because we thought that was something that might be interesting to those that are understanding of this situation and have heard about it and wondered what that really was.
Yeah, can I ask a couple questions about that? Now, energetically, with this shift that has occurred since November 11th, what are some ways that could be translated in the way people are feeling, or different let me just gather my thoughts here for a second. So, what are some things that people may be feeling as a result of some of this new energy?
The third dimension on the planet is a heavy one. It's a heavy dimension. It's a heavy feeling. It's not the lightness of being that other planets and other places have. It's a much denser. It's a much denser dimension, so to speak. So this lifting of this magnetic field that surrounded the planet, this control, this artificial, holding down.
Like an invisible cloak or blanket or something.
Right, that will not allow the consciousness to, it's like it's unseen, undetectable, kind of like a ceiling, like a ceiling. Like you can only go so far, and then the consciousness will not go any further. There are some that have broken through that consciousness, and there's some that always will be able to do that. But then many can't. So this is going to allow a lightness of being, so to speak, a lighter body, a light body, let's say, changing even DNA and cellular levels, and being able to have more of a lightness of being more of a light body than the third dimensional heavy body. It will be a process and it will be a change, but this is the beginning. This is the start of being able to do that and to be able to connect in to your subconscious, to your higher self, being able to tap into that more readily, because the ceiling is being lifted, the ceiling is being opened. So people will have much more ability to have that connection, to connect in, so to speak, to be able to open up and start getting answers, being able to, maybe meditate and start getting information. That can happen once that blanket, as you say, is lifted or gone through, so to speak. The energy can actually push out through that. Then it allows you to explore beyond.
Yes.
Beyond the third dimension. So the body should start to feel lighter, and again changing into more of a light body, and changing into more of and also we have to say too, the planet is also moving. The planet is also changing and shifting and going into a lighter dimension. So it's getting out of that heaviness. So the people have been given the opportunity to be on the same level, the same plane, so to speak, as the planet itself. So they can move together. The planet and the people can move together to this place of more lightness, and more openness and more understanding and more honesty. The shifting again of the the control and the heaviness and the darkness, shifting more into the lightness and the freedom and the ability to be the light beings that you really are.
Yeah. Now, as this is happening, is it possible, like I'll just use myself as an example, randomly, sort of unexpectedly, over the past few weeks, since this energetic event, I have had weird and sort of unusual for myself. I'm usually a very happy-go-lucky type of person. I've been having some anxiety and bouts of depression, and tapping into my personal guidance, I actually feel like maybe it's not all mine, or partially that it is just leaving my field, my energy field. Like it might be stuff that has been stuck in there, and I'm just actually able to release that now. It's sort of coming up to the surface. If other people are going through this, is that a normal part of the process to feel sort of like anxiety or depression or feelings of purging at all? Is that a normal part of the energy shift?
We want to say for some, yes. Everybody is different. Everybody has a different makeup, and so it will affect people differently in different ways. Many will, there are many now that are feeling some anger issues coming up, or anxiety, or as you say, depression. This is all just releasing. This is, as we say, the planet is releasing. The bodies are also releasing, and getting rid of the part of the lightness of being changing. The changes that are happening to the body itself is going to be, again, the purging of the negativity. So that has to come up and out, just like it's coming up and out of the planet. It has to come up and out to be able to clear and cleanse, to be able to allow the lightness of being to start happening in the body, and to also be able to open up to other avenues. So there are many different emotions that can come up in this process. So your planet being an emotional planet, there's going to be many varieties and many different emotions coming up in different people in different ways. But everything and anything is acceptable. So an individual can't look and say, he's feeling that and she's feeling that, but I'm feeling this. Yes, you all might have different feelings and be accepting it and exploring it in different ways, or purging different emotions. But that's your makeup. That's your personal makeup of your at a soul level of all your lives, all your past lives, and everything that's connected in. So you will be working on that on your own personal level. Mm-hmm. But it's never to be looked at and saying, well, how come I'm different, or how come it doesn't matter. It's all emotion. So you look at we put emotion in one big basket. There's all there's jealousy. There's so many different emotions that humans have. You can put them all in this big bubble, so to speak, and they're all of them can be affected in different ways. But it's all good because it's all of you, and it's all your personal purging and your personal cleansing. And that's fine. So any way that you're doing it, or anything that comes up for you, is a positive. So rather than looking at it as it's a good explanation for people to look at and say, okay, why am I feeling this? And if you understand it on a higher level, it's a lot easier to go through, and it would be less stressful to be able to understand where it's coming from and why these emotions are being put into play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I thought it might be helpful to bring that up. For people to not be alarmed or discouraged if they're feeling strong emotions that are maybe a little unusual or unsettling. We can be encouraged by that and just allow those to come up to the surface and be transmuted and released. Okay, well, mm-hmm. That's very helpful.
And we do want to say that, we call it the storm before the calm. So know that this is all part, the planet, the people, it's all part of this shift. This is a big shift happening. And again, we can say you all chose to be here at this time to experience this. This is an experience that you have chosen to have. For those who decided that they didn't want to be here for this, they will find a way not to be here. So know that this is, if you can look at it in a way of the overall picture that we see of this is all a positive effect on the planet. It might be not feel that way to the individual who's going through the process, because it is a process, and as we say, you may feel physical effects from this change. You may feel joint pain. You may have headaches. You may have, the physical body is going to go through some changes, and so you may have all of these physical aspects to it too. Many people might be feeling, a strangeness in their body that they're not used to, and they may get alarmed and they go to the doctor and they get tests and they don't find anything. They don't understand where this is coming from. So know that these are just changes going through the body. And of course we say, never negate, if you need physical help through physicians, whatever you want to do, that's fine. But when nothing can be found, then it's important to know where this might be coming from. Those that might be having, let's say, a lot of stomach distress, that's a very common, situation in these changes, when you have digestive disorders or joint pain. There are things that are happening to the body that actually are physically going to or have a chance of affecting you with this energy shift and this change. It affects the physical body also. So that's something also to understand at a certain level, and say that might be what's happening. That could be part of this.
Okay, wonderful. And is there anything that, so you were saying that this sort of shield, this consciousness shield that was sort of being put over the planet to be suppressive, is sort of broken and cracked. Are there things that people can do to sort of aid in sort of dissolving anything of this that might be left now? Does that make sense?
You mean on a personal level, or?
Yeah, so individuals who are listening to this, are there things that they can do to sort of, help break up the rest of any residual that may be left? Or was this energy event able to just actually dissolve the entire thing? Is that making sense?
Yes, and I want to say that it's all about consciousness. So, of course, the more people that raise their consciousness level, the more people that work on that, the better it's going to be. The more that this is going to open up, the more people. It's not necessarily an individual thing. It's a mass. And when we look at this, it's like, how many people are waking? How many people are waking up? How many people are feeling this? How many people are now suddenly, raising their consciousness level, raising their vibration to go along with the planet? That's what has to be looked at, because that then affects all the cosmos. So the planet is raising its vibration. The people on the planet are raising their vibration, and the more that do this, the better off the planet, the better off the individuals to have that connection. So it's a matter of everybody understanding that at some level, and being able to work on that individual, whatever that may be, whether it's meditation, whether it's praying, whatever their means of connecting into the earth, whatever their means are, that's fine. It's not something that's looked at that one's better than the other. It's an individual thing of what makes that person feel they're connecting in. It could be through dreams. You can ask before you go to sleep, can I connect in my dreams? That may be a way that you connect in, but it's connecting into the vibration of the planet, connecting into the raising of your vibration. We also want to say, which we say often, is that laughter. These times are very difficult on your planet. They're very heavy. The third dimensional heaviness is very strong right now because of the changes that are happening, and the fight, the war that is going on. The war of subconsciousness is going on, and it's a feeling of, again, intense, chaotic feeling. But we understand that as much as that is happening, it's very, very important to keep your humor, to keep laughing. Laughing raises the vibration of the planet. Laughing raises the vibration of the individual, and thus it raises the vibration of everybody, because everybody's connected in. So the more that you can find some joy, something to have fun, something to laugh, that is important to remember that, and to keep that going. Not to let the heaviness get to the point that you're losing your joy. We must all look at this and look at you and decide that, the individual also needs to have joy in their life and happiness. And that is a very, very important part of what needs to be done to raise the vibration. So, and to raise yourselves, it's trying times for sure, but you talk about depression and sadness, and all those things are negative emotions, and it's very important to try to switch that to more of a positive emotion. So do individually what it would be to make you happy. We say walking in nature, taking a walk in nature. That instantly raises the vibration. That's an important thing to do, especially now, to get outside, to be grounded, to walk barefoot on the earth, and to hug a tree, to feel the vibration and the energy of a tree or a plant or an animal. That is all very high vibrational. You can, as a individual human, you can get so much from that. You can take in so much energy from doing something like that. Anything that makes you feel joyous, anything that makes you feel happy, if it's meditation, if it's watching a funny movie, something that makes you feel joy is important, and whatever that is to the individual is something that will be very helpful to all, to benefit all.
Okay, good. That's very helpful. So are there any more information about this particular topic that you would like to bring forward at this time?
We once again just want to thank all who are making the individual effort to create the world in which they want to live. And really, that's what we see. We see this shift happening because people want to create something different. People at a soul level know what the calm will be. They see the storm, they know what the calm will be, and they desperately want to get to that calm. Mm-hmm. Every individual at a core level wants the same things. They want happiness, they want health, they want to be comfortable, they want to have good families. Everybody wants the same basic qualities on your planet in the third dimensional level. That is very important to remember, and to remember that that's where everybody really wants to shift into, no matter what they're feeling at this point in time, no matter what their political beliefs are, no matter what their spiritual beliefs are, no matter what their religious beliefs are. They all really want just that, the basics.
To live in a better world.
To live in a better world, to get along, to love each other. That really is the core of what everybody really is looking for. So know that is attainable, but it's a process to go through to get to that point. So we thank every individual person who is working on themselves to get to that point, to go through this chaotic time, to be able to understand that is the shift, and that is the ultimate goal, is to get to that calm after the storm. So that's very important to know that that's there. That's what everybody's working for, because everybody that's here on the planet at this time is really doing their individual part to get there. Everybody is and the shift that happened and the changes that happen are getting it even closer there, because people are going to feel that all the more and start understanding that at a deeper level. So it's very important to keep that process going, and know that there is a goal, know that there is a place to go with this, and that it's shifting in the right direction. It's going in the right direction. It's getting there. It's all happening, even though you can't see it, you can't feel it. There's no proof. There's no scientific proof necessarily, but it is happening, and we can just tell you that the shift is happening, the changes are happening, and to just remain positive. Remain positive. Try to find joy in every day, and find a way to, again, love each other and let go of the differences, and find a way to get to that calm.
All right, well, that wraps up our session for today. Please don't forget to send us your questions that you might want answered in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe.